Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am here for Free Advice Friday with New Shelves Books, and today we're going to talk about all things book marketing, publishing. It is free every single week. You just visit newshelves.com/FAF. We take questions live on Zoom, and you can also email questions in advance to questions at Free Advice Friday. It's kind of our way to help out the writing community, the authoring and publishing community, so that we can chat and learn from each other. This week, we did get quite a few questions in via email. So I'm going to start with those. But of course, anyone here joining us live, if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A box. That way I don't miss them. But let's go ahead and get started with the first question here. Let's see. Not that one. The first question was about trademark. We had someone who was actually sent notice that they were in trademark violation. So they, someone emailed them through their website, said that they were in trademark violation because their title was using this person's trademark. And of course, that obviously caused some upset. And they're asking, well, what do I do? Do I have to take my book down? What happens? And my advice when anyone is ever saying that you are in violation of trademark, the first thing you do, well, there's two things really. Number one, do not respond. Do not respond to this person. Go get legal counsel first. Go find someone who can legally counsel you on what to do, but you do not want to start responding and getting into a back and forth with that person. It's not going to end well. It's kind of like little kids saying, you did this. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. It's not going anywhere good. So just don't go there. The other thing I would recommend is that you go to the US trademark site and search and do a search to see whether or not you can find that. And if it is trademarked, so that you're prepared. They may have a trademark, but it may not be for anything having to do with your book. Some trademarks only cover certain things. So it's not necessarily I have a trademark and you can't use it for anything in any way. And the site for that is uspto.gov/trademarks. And I'm going to drop that in our chat. So if you've ever wondered if your book title or something like that is trademarked, you can always do a search, which brings us to how do I prevent this from happening in the first place? Sometimes you just can't. You sometimes just cannot. But what you can do is if you do have a title, you can always go and do a search on the US trademark and see if it's on there. That doesn't mean that it's exclusive. It doesn't mean that you'll find everything, but at least it's something you can do to try to protect yourself. We see this not so much with fiction books, but we see this more with nonfiction, with lifestyle books. Obviously, things like Chicken Soup for the Soul. If you try to use that, it's not going to go over very well. And also keep in mind that as people are trademarking things, of course, if you feel that someone is using your trademark, you are going to ask them to cease and desist, right? That's what happens. But they are going to use scary language. Make sure you do your own research. It does not mean that you just have to just immediately drop everything, pull your book, and frantically backtrack. It just means that it's time to get some legal counsel and just start doing some research on your own to see if you may be indeed infringing on their trademark. Yes, and when Tara's saying that website that I just dropped in, the uspto.gov/trademarks, is also a great site for when you're editing and you want to refer to trademarked items correctly. So that's also of note. It's a really great resource. It's free. You can search online. You can search different keywords. You can search like your entire title. So it's nice to have, and why not? I mean, why not take the extra step? And also it allows you to search not only your specific trademark, but allows you to search things that are similar to what you're looking for. And maybe, especially again, not fiction so much, but if you are a health and wellness coach, if you are a cookbook author, something like that, maybe you want to get your own trademark on some of the things you plan on using. If you plan to build an entire business brand around the slogan, trademark, or name, I've seen that quite a few times. I have a client that has a very popular cookbook, and her cookbook, she trademarked the name for it, and that is her website. It's her cookbook. She's now started rolling out actual food items. She's got marinara sauce, and she's working on taco seasoning and all that kind of thing. And eventually what did happen is someone published a book using her name and her trademark. They were trying to feed off of what she was doing. It was very similar to hers. And so she did. She went and she got lawyers involved, and she got the trademark. It was protected, so she had it taken down. So sometimes if it's something like that, you may want to do that. Ooh, and I'm getting an update from the author that a lawyer did say he didn't think that the person who said that they had the trademark didn't think they had any merit. And so they're going through a couple of people, and our friend over here is saying they went through the bar they went through the bar association for trademark lawyer referrals, and they gave them 4, and that you can have a free consultation with them. So that's good to know that if you're looking for a lawyer, whether it be for trademark, copyright, media rights, going through the bar association for referrals might be a really great idea and a place to start. I know myself, until I need a lawyer, I don't even think about it. The only time most of us on average will use a lawyer is when we're buying or selling a house, or when we're creating a will, or of course cases of marriage and custody. But how often are you like, oh yeah, I need a trademark lawyer? Not that often. So it's nice to know that you can go to the bar association. And hopefully it goes well. Again, I know our sense is to panic. And when people are sending these types of notices and letters, they are going to use inflammatory language. They are going to sound mean and scary because they want to intimidate you to immediately take it down. They don't want to have to get legal action involved because because that's money and time for them. So they are going to use language that sounds very scary, like you must take it down immediately and all of that kind of stuff. And they may be right in the end, but that doesn't mean that you immediately drop everything, remove your book, and backtrack on all of your hard work and your marketing. Yes, Randy, we do love the bar association. All of them. Let's see. Yes, we have seen quite a few great articles coming out for the A+ content. There was one on Nonfiction Authors Association. I think we might have shared that on our, I think we shared it on our social media this week, but Nonfiction Authors Association has an article. Readsy has an article. Kindlepreneur has an article. It's the new hot thing. So everyone's talking about it. And certainly there's a lot of helpful videos. I just know that a lot of us like videos, so we'll get that up soon. And also, because all of these different pieces have different sizes and stuff like that, I have my fantastic sidekick, Anna, is making us a chart of the different sizes for your graphics so that you don't have to go hunt them down, because we did that and it took a while to actually go in and see exactly what sizes you need, how they fit together, so that you can visualize how it works, and have an easy way to create these things right in Canva. Certainly you can have someone else create them for you, but we use Canva because it's free and easy. I love that, Randy. Please do. I'll be a member. All right. Back to our emails over here. And please do, Wendy, keep us updated. I'd love to know. All right. There we go. Next question. KDP is no longer accepting Mobi files as of August 1st, which is correct, and instead prefers an EPUB file instead, which we've known this is coming for a while, that KDP is now going to accept EPUB files. They've come up and joined everyone else in the files they require. Except for, keep in mind, I know we've said this before, you still need a Mobi file to put directly onto a Kindle. So if you're trying to give beta readers, reviewers, a ebook and they say they're using a Kindle, you cannot give them an EPUB. It's not going to upload onto their Kindle. You still need that Mobi file. But the question is, when we used to upload Mobi files to KDP, we never entered an ISBN because the Mobi didn't have one. Now that we're uploading the EPUB, which does have an ISBN, should we be entering that? Or will it create some cosmic hiccup where when I go to upload the EPUB to other distribution channels like Draft to Digital or Ingram Spark, that ISBN is already being used on Amazon? No, I've never had that happen. I've been uploading our ebook ISBN when it was Mobi, when it was EPUB. I've been doing it for years now. So I recommend that you do put your ISBN for your ebook in. And one reason we were doing it even before is because it makes it searchable. So when you're actually on Amazon and you're searching that ISBN, it pops up with the ebook. So one ISBN to rule them all for your ebook. Doesn't matter if it's an EPUB, Mobi, if it's going on Kindle, Baker and Taylor for ebooks, or Nook, or anything else. Just like you have one ISBN for your paperback, you've got one ISBN for your ebook, and you can use it everywhere. I highly recommend that if you have an ebook, you assign an ISBN, and that ISBN should go up on KDP for Amazon as well as everywhere else, Draft to Digital. If you're uploading directly to Google Play or Kobo, anything like that, that you use that ISBN everywhere. It's like a little tag that helps you track it. So I personally have been doing it for years and have never had a problem. Let me see. All right, I have two questions about printing. The first question, let me pull this up. All right. Do you still have to upload a Mobi for BookFunnel? Absolutely, you do. That is how your reviewers will still get the ebook file for Kindle. Because again, if you send your reviewers an EPUB file, they will not be able to put it on their Kindle. They must have the Mobi file. Essentially, what KDP is doing, what Amazon is doing, is they recognize that people are mad that you needed a different file just for them. It was kind of annoying. So what they've done is they're saying, okay, now we're going to take a EPUB. They are going to convert it to a Mobi for their systems, which is fantastic, which is great. However, there's that little tiny hiccup that you still need the Mobi file for anyone going direct to a Kindle device or to a Kindle app, like on your phone. It doesn't automatically convert. You cannot send an EPUB file to your Kindle and have it work. So you still need a Mobi file. It's like Amazon and KDP were like, oh, we're going to do something awesome. And then like, instead of going this far, they went this far. And then we're like, oh, sorry, guys, you still need a Mobi. So yes, you still need a Mobi file for BookFunnel and for any type of reviewing program. If you're doing hidden gems, they still require a Mobi. If you are doing a blog tour, they're probably still going to require a Mobi, all of that kind of stuff. All right, question over here about printing, and then I will get back. All right. Question about printing. Mary asks, I guess I'm a perfectionist. My question is about format and print. I've got my manuscript uploaded into the Amazon template. Will it be printed just like what I have on the page? I broke some of the longer words at the end of the lines with a hyphen. Will it show up exactly that way on the page? I'm just worried it will be changed and then I'll have a word with a hyphen in the middle where it doesn't belong. Typically, now keep in mind, if you're using the Amazon template, it auto formats, but typically what happens is once you have your book up, you can preview it. When you preview it, they actually require you to preview it to approve it. So when you preview it, what is on the page is what will print. So I don't have one up right now and it takes too long to get to it, but it shows the actual book. It has like the little dotted lines to show you where it's going to cut off. And if you're outside of the line, they'll say, hey, you can't do that. And whatever you see on the page is what will print on that page exactly like that. Ebook, keep in mind, ebook, especially text heavy ebooks, are reflowable, which means if I didn't wear my glasses today, I can make the text giant and fit, 10 words on my screen rather than having the full thing. So you can't really control that. But for print book, you can. Now, Mary, you also said they wouldn't send you any more proofs because you ordered too many the first time around. I have never actually heard of that. I've never heard of someone running out of proofs. So I kind of feel like you deserve a medal or something. But you have stumped me there. I've never, ever heard of that. Usually you can still order proofs, but you can only order up to 5 at a time, I believe it is. You can make it go live and order and adjust, but what you're viewing on the page should be it. And hopefully that's good. And like I said, I know that we're perfectionists. We want our books to be the best that they can be, right? I was actually talking to another client about this. We want the books to be the best that we can. We have this image in our head of what our book should look like, but sometimes we also have to have reality. It's someone who wanted color on their spine. They only wanted it on the spine. They wanted a perfect, clean edge of dark color and light color. And that doesn't happen on print on demand. There's always a variance. There's a variance about, I think it's 1/8 of an inch. And sometimes, you can only vary so much. That's why when people have something that they want on their spine, I say you need to plan for it to go over. So if you've got a color and it's a harsh color going from the spine to the edges, well, guess what? You really should be working with a gradient on each side, knowing that each time this print on demand books is printed, it may flow over a little bit. You can get it pretty darn close and you can get things looking awesome, but this is not precision printing where someone is going to be sitting there proofing every little thing and going, yep, perfect. There's no color on the side. It's awesome. It just doesn't happen. And that's why all the templates you see kind of have like the box that says, it might be out, it might flow over. That is why you kind of make all your text a little bit smaller than what the spine actually is. You actually make the text smaller than what the full book cover is because there's a variance and you don't want it to be cut off. So print on demand is awesome. It gives us a lot of opportunities, but it also means that it's not perfection. It's not something that you can super control. All of that to say, what you see on the previewer is what you should get. So hope that gives you some confidence there. I love that. I spent years working at IBM with a system called Bookmaster, a precursor to HTML. I was the Bookmaster guru. No badge though. Tara, I'll get Emma and Odin to make you a badge. We'll send it your way. And yes, Proofmaster badge. I think that I'm a big fan of The Office and they have Dundie Awards, and I think we should have our own publishing Dundie Awards. That's coming up. Look for big things coming from New Shelves in 2022. All big awards. Love it. Jane, you crack me up because you know everything. I make up answers for everything. That's what I told someone on the consulting call the other day. Actually, I try very hard to be honest when I don't know something, but I do think we can always find the answer, or we know someone who has the answer. So I'm taking a Tick-Tock for Authors workshop tomorrow, but you can no longer install Tick-Tock. Is it possible to do a Tick-Tock video without the app? Jane, I'm going to tell you the basics of what I know about it. I'll be completely honest. I do not have Tick-Tock. I have family members who actually work in IT security, and they all but forbade me to put TikTok on my phone or anything my children use. So I personally don't have it. As far as installing the app to do the video, I think that you can do videos and upload them, but I'm not super familiar with it. I do know that these things, just like Instagram stories, were made to be used with Instagram. So I do know it makes it a lot easier. And if you cannot do the app, I don't know how you would even post. I don't know if you can access it online or things like that. So if anyone else happens to be like TikTok guru, absolutely, you stumped me. If anyone else is a TikTok guru and you be doing all the time, then let us know. But as far as I know, it's really meant to be done in the app. But with that said, a lot of times you can upload stuff. Look, Tara has found an amazing link over here, TikTok video editor, creating TikTok videos without the mobile app. Although then that brings me to the question of, if you don't have the mobile app and you're creating videos, can you post if you don't have the mobile app? Like Instagram, you can't post from a computer unless you're like connected through Hootsuite or something, but you can't actually post from a computer. It's meant to be a phone app. So all of these questions. And Caroline's saying she installed TikTok last month. I don't know if this is a new thing or if it's, you know, who knows. But I'm interested to see how that goes, Jane. I know TikTok and BookTok are huge. They get a lot of interest. I freely admit I watch those videos once they make it over to other social media platforms because I love the video content. Everyone loves the video content. It's catchy. That's why we recently had a whole social media post about video, because video is hot and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you know, completely edited and polished to a T. It has to be genuine. It has to be fun, and it has to be engaging. I don't know when they stopped installation. Let's see. Yes. There is a post on New Shelves about TikTok, which again, Anna, my most awesome, wonderful sidekick and coworker, did, and she does that kind of stuff for me because it is my weakness, and she is awesome and she fills in there. Let's see. Absolutely, it did. Love it. All right, I'm uploading a new title to Amazon. Is there a way to set a specific date in the future for the publication date for when it goes live? I didn't see an option for this in the KDP setup pages. No, Mike, there is not. That goes under pre-orders. So pre-orders only on KDP, pre-order, or being able to set your book for launch and release in the future is only available on the ebook. So you can do a pre-order, you can set everything up in advance for the ebook on KDP. KDP does not allow for paperback pre-order. They do not allow you to set a date in the future. So what I do is I upload all my files, I get everything ready on KDP, and then when I know I want the book to launch, if I want the book to launch on Monday, like this coming Monday, I would be hitting the submit button for that book to go into proof, approval, and listing either Friday or Saturday, because it can take up to 72 hours. And if you run into any snags, you run into snags. So you can upload things in advance, but you cannot actually do a pre-order on KDP. With that said, if you really want a print, paperback, hardcover pre-order, you can upload your book to Ingram Spark. If you upload your book to Ingram Spark, you can set up a pre-order. And when you enable that distribution, because there's no current listing for your book on Amazon, then Ingram Spark will push the book out to Amazon. They will allow pre-orders, which go through Ingram Spark. Keep that in mind because it does affect how much royalty you make per book sold, but it allows your paperback to go out for pre-order. And then when you release your KDP paperback, what happens is KDP overrides Ingram Spark for the top listing. So KDP overrides for Amazon sales, and you'll start selling those books directly from KDP. Oh, you'd like to do it for a family member's birthday. That's really nice. Let's see. I purchased a block of 10 ISBNs for my yet to be published book. I will use one for my paperback, one for my ebook, etc. Do I now need to register those numbers with descriptions of what they apply to somewhere? Yes. Once you buy your ISBNs, you own them. First step, great job. After you buy your ISBNs, you need to go to Bowker and you need to register them. You actually go to each ISBN and you tell them what you want to use it for. If you don't have your book yet, or you bought 10 ISBNs and you only need 2 of them, just leave the ones you're not using alone. But when you have the ISBN you want to use, you click on it, you have to fill out the information. They want the information for the book title. They want to know the description, who wrote it, is it paperback, is it ebook? They ask all of these questions that you go through. Some things are required right away, others you can fill in later. You can always edit this information. So if you have a title and then it ends up changing before you actually publish, you can edit that information. Don't be afraid of that. But then you put the title as forthcoming. It's one of the options. Is that record active? Is it has it been taken down? Is it forthcoming? And it'd be forthcoming. And then you update once the book goes live and you say it's an active record. So yes, you must actually put your information in Bowker. Bowker is the hub of all information for metadata for book publishing. That's where libraries will look, bookstores will look. A lot of people pull information from Bowker. So you want to make sure your stuff is updated and correct. So you do absolutely register each ISBN. Then, of course, you put the ISBN in your book, in your copyright page. You use it for upload, et cetera, et cetera. But Bowker and actually assigning your ISBNs out in Bowker can also be a really great way to keep track of the ISBNs you've used, what you used them for. Was this for my paperback? Was this for my ebook? I don't remember. Hey, it's right there in Bowker. So it's kind of a great way to stay organized as well. I will freely say Bowker, which for the US is myidentifiers.com, is not the most updated, intuitive website. It is pretty dated. It's a little bit clunky, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. However, everyone uses it. So know that you may kind of have some fits and starts as you do it. It does lead you through things step by step, but just know it may take a little bit of time to get used to it. It's not super savvy, but you can totally do it. Just don't get frustrated. Know that it'll take a minute to get used to the Bowker site. It's not you, it is just the site. Yep, Google picked up a ISBN title before I had the cover ready. It showed up in a Google for a bit and took time to update. So might want to have the cover ready when assigning it in Bowker. All of that metadata does take time because it only gets updated. So it's just like anywhere, right? If I make a change on my book in Ingram Spark, it doesn't immediately go to Barnes & Noble. It waits until Barnes & Noble does a metadata update and then it changes. So all of that stuff does take time. And so you can upload your front cover in Bowker. Actually, you should. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, if you're doing this way ahead, then it's all right. But something to think about. Oh, that's nice. So Bowker has a very helpful support call number, Nancy's saying. An absolutely great decision on buying your own ISBNs. I'm so proud. Yes, and look for all the hidden fields. In Bowker, there's so many things. Like they have the short form where it's got the basics, but then there's a little tiny button towards the top that says expanded or something like that. It's like this little button, and that's got all this extra information you can add in, and you want to be able to do that. You want to provide as much information as possible. It will help you be searched, found, and bought later on. Your book to be searched, found, and bought. Not you. We're not selling humans. Hidden fields. Imprint is one of them that doesn't show up on the short field. So, for example, if I buy ISBNs under my name, Keri Barnum, but then I want to use my publishing imprint because I'm professionally publishing, then I need to make sure I assign my imprint for those ISBNs. So it doesn't say on all my sales listings that it was published by Keri Barnum. It would say published by New Shelves Books, New Shelves Publishing. So it's important that you put the imprint in there. I see that kind of a lot. Different things like that. Like there are a lot of things. There's a spot to put illustrators. If you're using illustrations, there's a spot for lots of little pieces here and there. So check them out. Yes, and all the little links to show fields. Maybe this is also a blog post in the making. The easy steps. How to assign your ISBN number and Barcode in 1,298 easy steps. I think that sounds like a winner. Yes, yes, they do. All right. I'm going to go back over to our email. I do see questions still coming up. I see you, Bobby. And I will come back to that. All right, a question over here from email came from Nancy. I didn't forget you, Nancy. All right, I'm gonna try to put it over to the side so I can see the chat and all the things. All right, so KDP International Printing versus offset print. So Nancy has been wondering whether or not to do offset print, which gives her some more custom options and would put her book into a distributor versus using KDP International Printing. Because as we know, KDP, they not only do they sell and ship globally, but they print globally now. They have Australia, which is a biggie, making Australian books more, print books more available and also more affordable, which is a big deal. I mean, that has not been the case. Books in Australia are really expensive. And KDP actually having a print facility in Australia makes books available there at a more affordable price. England, Japan, Germany, France, like they're all over, right? They print all over and they ship all over. And when you're using KDP for your book print on demand, you can sell to all of these places because what happens is they upload to the different sites. So if I'm in Australia and I order the print copy, it's going to print in Australia and ship quickly. If I'm in Canada, it's going to print in Canada and ship quickly. It makes it really convenient and it makes it cheaper. When you are doing offset print and you have a book distributor, that may not be the case. Keep in mind that if my books are housed in a warehouse in Minnesota, when your books are housed in a warehouse in Minnesota and someone in Australia orders your book, someone's got to ship it, and that's not cheap. And so the question is, which one's right? Here's the thing. I think number one, you do have options to do both. However, I have for a long time advocated for no matter what you do, you need to have some type of print on demand or something set up for having your book available internationally. KDP print on demand is a really easy way to do that. That's why most of the time, if you're doing print on demand, I recommend that you use your KDP print on demand for Amazon, which gets you internationally and in the US, and Ingram Spark for your wholesale. Now, a book distributor will get you in places like Baker and Taylor, which is huge for libraries. There's value in that, but you need to come up with a plan. Some of my clients do use offset print. They use a book distributor for the US only. That book distributor may not ship or go anywhere internationally. So you may want to just enable an international printing print on demand from KDP for your book there. Just know that you won't have the same print options. You won't have those custom printing options. So again, it's one of those cases as there's not a right and a wrong answer. There are informed decisions. And that's what you have to do, is inform yourself. If your audience is going to be largely international, I would encourage you to look into print options, trim sizes that can be easily printed and distributed worldwide, which means that KDP is a good option for you. You may still use a book distributor in the US, but you still need to be able to print that same book, same ISBN internationally and push it out that way. And that's certainly a big consideration. So don't think that it's one or the other. In many cases, you will have more than one printing option, one distribution option, and they're working all together. So it's making sure that you make informed decisions. And as far as printing from KDP, yes, printing from KDP, you have a full color cover. It's very comparable in your print on demand pricing is pretty comparable across the board as far as Ingram Spark and KDP. As far as price rises, they did do a price increase last year, I think, but still, I mean, it's pretty reasonable knowing that it's print on demand. You'll make a little less per book than if you did offset print, but you also have less commitment. So I think that covered everything, Jane. I'm sorry, Nancy. I'm reading things and also answering. So I think that answered everything for you. And I love seeing this over here. Jane is telling us that she has been promoting her series. She's got the mystery series, and she just reached bestseller rank of 8,985 in all Kindle, which is huge because the Kindle store has like 3 million titles. So making it to 8,985 is awesome. So way to go. And I love seeing that you are number 41 in Christian suspense, number 54 in Christian living, and number 70 in women's detective fiction. I love to see you guys succeed. And I know that a lot of it is all the things that we talk about here. I know that it's all the knowledge that we share and the support. So awesome job. All right. Favorite sketch artist who can do internal book sketches for a yoga book. This comes down to sketches and illustration. You can work with an individual illustrator. It depends on what kind of feeling you want, Bobby. Do you want something that's very realistic? Do you want something that's cartoony? That is what it'll come down to. A lot of people will find their illustrators on Upwork, on Fiverr, on places like 99 Designs. You have to be careful that when you're finding someone, you want to get them to do a sample sketch. That means you'll probably have to pay for it, but you're asking someone to do one image, and you may decide that you're going to go to a couple people and get sample images to see which style you like. And it's really important that whoever you're using, that you know exactly how that illustration will work and what the agreement is. Are they signing over copyright to you when you buy the sketch? Do you have permission to use it? Do you need to credit them in your book? Do they not want credit? I've seen that happen as well. It's really important that you look at those fine details about not just style and overall, like what sketch you want, but also finding the details about how you're allowed to use the image. Do you owe them anything? Every once in a while, you'll see someone say, I'm selling you this image for X amount and I'll get 15% royalties for the life of the book. So be careful with that kind of thing. In many cases, you just want to buy the rights outright so that you can use that illustration. Now, if it's something, can they use it elsewhere? All sorts of things. So I think that's almost as important as the actual illustration. So again, Fiverr, Upwork, 99 Designs are all great spots. You can go directly to illustrators, but if it's someone who does illustrations full time, know that you will pay for that. Illustrators, it's what they do. It's like artists. Would you expect to pay, a pretty penny for a piece of art? Absolutely. Depending on the type of art, I know that our dear friend Bob Eckstein does do some illustrations and things like that. So check them out, but best of all, look through some people's portfolio and find someone who's already kind of doing the style that you like. Let's see, yet another Ingram question. I have listed a book at $16.95. Print cost is $7.20. I'm getting a warning that can't publish because I'll lose $1.29 on every sale. I'm confused. I'm going to guess, Caroline, that what happened is that you set your book to a full trade discount, which is 55%. And what it means is that you literally will lose money, because when you do a full trade discount, it's 55%. So I would really like to be able to do this math in my head, but I'm not that talented. So I'm going to use my calculator. We call this print on demand math. And what it means is that if you have a book at $16.95, so $16.95, and you are putting it up at a 55% discount, then you have to take the $16.95 and you have to take 55% off of this retail price. So times 0.55 equals. That means that the price, the discount that retailers get is $9, roughly 32 cents. So I'm going to take this $9.3225 and I'm going to minus it from $16.95, which leaves us with $7.62 roughly. So $7.62 is all that's left in the pot. If your print cost is $7.20, so we're going to add that in there, that leaves you with roughly 42 cents. So depending on if I did my calculations correctly, if we used exact numbers, that kind of thing, you would only be making 42 cents. And that is where it comes from. It's important that when we're figuring out that 55% discount, and this is what I see most often, is when we're figuring out that 55% discount, a lot of people are taking the 55% discount off of what they consider the profit. So you may be, again, with the calculator, and my mom said I wouldn't always have a calculator with me, if only she knew. All right, so if we take the cost of $6.95 and we just take out the printing cost, you may be going, okay, well, there's $9.75 to split between us. So I'll give them 55% off of that, and then I'll keep the rest. But that's not how it works. And that's usually where people get tripped up when they're calculating their numbers. The 55% is off of the full price. So if your book's $16.95, you figure out 55%, you take that out of the pot right away. Then from whatever's left, you have to take your printing cost. And from that's what you're actually left with. And that is why the number, when people are figuring out how much they make per book, can seem lower than they expected. So that's that. And when that happens, you have a couple of options, depending on your print choices. For example, if you have a children's book and you're using premium color, you can try standard color to see if you can get your print cost down. You can, did you put in a sample chapter from another book that adds on another 30 pages? If so, then that's something that, you might want to take off to knock down that print cost. And it may come to increasing your paperback print cost. We'll bring it up $1, make it so you're even. List price usually has to be higher for that. And I know that the books that you have, Caroline, are not, they're not light. They've got some heft to them. And so that may be it. But again, if you're getting a 400 to 500 page novel, hey, you're going to have to pay $1 extra. And just know, again, this is where a lot of people get up in arms too, is, well, that doesn't happen on KDP. I make money on KDP, but on KDP, you are getting a higher royalty. You're not offering a retail royalty. Now, on the flip side, you may decide, I'm not going to offer a full trade discount. I'm not going to market this book to bookstores specifically. I'm going to take this book, I'm going to set it, let's say, at a 40% discount, because what happens at a 40% discount, after Ingram wholesaler takes their 15%, the end user, the end buyer, gets a 25%, which means that that 25% is great for libraries, not for retail though. So you kind of have to realize, you kind of just have to realize what your goals are and make your decisions from there. But it may mean a higher price. Yeah, 520 pages. That may be it. And you may also look, can you make your margins wider? What is your font size? All of that kind of stuff when you're looking at how to make a smaller book. Now, you don't want to make it so like, oh, wow, we made this book and it's cheap, but then people have to go like this to read it. But certainly look at the spacing between your lines, and could it be shorter? Your margin sizes, your font size, your font type. All of that kind of stuff. Are you doing a continuous run on your fiction books, or are you starting all of your chapters on the right-hand page? There's a lots of ways that you can save space here and there, but again, it all runs together into your decisions. Bob is saying, I want to add to the yoga author that if you plan to pitch to a publisher, they will want to recommend the illustrator. So it may be something you need not worry about now at the book proposal stage. So that's important to note too, is that if you have a nonfiction book and you think you want illustrations, graphs, that kind of thing, but you're pitching to a publisher rather than self-publishing, you may not need to worry about that. You simply need a great book proposal to pitch to a publisher, and they may have their own illustrator on staff. I love that idea, Bob. And actually, I need to contact you because I think that you would be awesome to tell us more about book proposals, because I know you rock at them. I expect an email soon. Let's see. Yes, different font families make a huge difference in the page count. We dropped 40 pages simply by changing a font family recently. Exactly. It's those little details that sometimes make a huge difference. So check those kind of things out. Keri, I got a barcode based on what I wanted to sell on Amazon, so I didn't take into consideration Ingram Spark. Do I need to change the barcode with a high price to make it work with bookstores? So good question. Yes, when you have a price specific barcode, which I highly recommend for wholesalers, or when you're going through Ingram Spark, highly recommend. It needs to match your actual price. You cannot have a price barcode that says $14.95 on it when indeed you're selling your book for $17.95. Ingram Spark will actually flag that and tell you your book is incorrect. It's got wrong information. So you need it to match. You do not have to go pay for this. It's really easy to make your own barcode. There are things that help you make it. And in fact, I have a YouTube video for that. So there's a really easy YouTube video on how to make your own priced barcode. Certainly you can pay people for this. People sell them anywhere from $25 to $100 for a barcode and to put it on your what's it called, on your book cover. But you can also do this yourself. You completely can do this yourself. It's super easy. I'm going to drop this in the chat. I was getting a link. How could you tell? Was it the vacant stare off to the side? But also, if you're not here and not seeing our chat for that link, go to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. We have lots of videos there. And barcode is one of them. You can always search our videos for keywords too to see if it's helpful. If you change the price barcode for Ingram Spark, do you have to pay another charge to change, or is it free? Anytime you update a file on Ingram Spark, there's a $25 revision fee. If you are a member of Ally, Alliance of Independent Authors, IBPA, Nonfiction Book Association, they all offer Ingram Spark codes where you can do uploads and revisions for free, up to 5 per month. So if you're a member of any of those, go look for your free code. Don't pay the $25. Now, if your book has not been approved yet, if you've uploaded the book, but it has not been approved for print and distribution, you can change out your files and there's no cost. But let's also address this, because I see this a lot. if you increase your price on Ingram Spark so that you can offer a full trade discount, if you realize I've got to make my book $17.95 on Ingram Spark to offer that full discount, your book price must also go up on KDP and Amazon. You cannot have a print book on Amazon for $14.95 and then have your Ingram Spark book up at $17.95 for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was decided by the Fair Trade Commission that that was not allowed. It is actually illegal, and you can get in trouble with the law for that. Is someone going to come find you and actually sue you? I don't know. Maybe not, but do you really want to go there? I don't. So you need the same price everywhere you go, everywhere you upload. Now, with that said, bookstores, personal retailers can discount the price. So Amazon, you could list your book at $17.95 and Amazon could sell it for $15. They, as a retailer, are offering a discount, and that's their right. You still get paid the same. You still listed the book at the same price. Just like Barnes & Noble, Walmart, anyone can offer a discount. That's up to them. They take the hit. But Fair Trade Commission states, there was like this big lawsuit about this a couple years ago. When you're selling to a wholesaler, it must be the same price and the same terms for each wholesaler. So if it's $17.95 on Ingram Spark, it must be $17.95 on Amazon. Another reason to do this that's a little bit more practical, if you're asking a bookstore to carry your book, don't think for a minute that they're not going to go to Amazon and check out your book. Now they may, like rather like smack themselves than admit it, but they're going to go to Amazon. They're going to see if your book is selling. They're going to see what kind of reviews on there, and they do check out the price, because if I've got a book in my store for $17.95, but it's on Amazon for $14.95, it's not really a good deal for me. Chances are the people are just going to look it up in my store and then go buy it on Amazon. It's not a good use of shelf space. So keep that in mind as well. Same price, all platforms. Let's see. You cannot discount the paperback. What you offer for wholesale has to be the wholesale price. Amazon can discount, you cannot discount. All right. And yes, if you are a part of IBPA, then you do get a code. It's in their membership benefit packet. I think that's where it is now. But you do get a code. You can get it that way. It changes every month, and you get up to 5 free uploads or revisions per month. Only 5. After 5, then you have to pay. But the average person not running like a publishing house shouldn't need more than 5. I'd say 60 a year for uploads and revisions. Unless you are writing at an impressive speed, you shouldn't need more than that. But if you do, you have to pay per upload revision. Oh, thank you. Tara has given us the code link. What happens when you have an Ingram Spark barcode with the price in the barcode? What does KDP do to the book? In reading their documentation, they will only allow their own barcode. Not correct, Terry. You can actually use your own barcode that came from Ingram Spark. It just has to be to the correct dimensions for KDP. So KDP does actually require that it has a certain width. So I believe it's 2 inches long, but so there are requirements, but your barcode, your price barcode that you use on Ingram Spark can also be used on KDP. You just have to make sure that it fits the dimensions that are required for printing. Also, keep in mind, your cover files for KDP and Ingram Spark are different. They're sized differently. So sometimes people will have their KDP file, not put a barcode and let Amazon auto-generate, and then they'll put a price barcode on Ingram Spark. You can do that. You can put your own price barcode on each one. You just select the box saying that you have a barcode. And so there are different options there as well. Let's see. Got that one. All right. And Caroline's asking, what do you think of the old standard small paperback? Do readers still use this form, and should I? When you say small paperback, Caroline, are you talking about a mass market paperback, like the smaller books that are tinier? So originally, you had like your trade paperback. This is like the nicely printed, like it is the primo, and that is what came out usually first. And then after the book had gotten some recognition, it would go to mass market paperback, which is exactly like what it sounds. It's cheaper paper, it's thinner, cheaper paper, tends to be shorter, smaller, and usually smaller print, and a lot of times thicker because it went smaller. This was kind of the mass market, the cheapy version of the book. The version that you can throw in your purse, you can throw in your beach bag, but it's maybe not as nice. And again, the paper quality is much different. It's not as thick and things like that. Paperbacks or mass market paperbacks still sell. They're not as common anymore, but they do still sell. I kind of feel like the modern day ebook has become the mass market paperback of the 90s. It's easy to use, it's easy to carry, and it costs less. All the things that people look for in a mass market paperback kind of come in your ebook form. As far as if people still use them, they absolutely do. Mass markets are still pretty popular in mysteries, in romance books, and that kind of thing. However, it's not a standard print size for print on demand. So if you have to choose between a mass market paperback size, which I want to say it's a weird size, it's like 4.75 by 7 or something like that. Like it's smaller than a 5 by 8. If that's the case, then I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I would go with your full size book, not going for the mass market paperback size, because it's just not, it's not as convenient or standard, and doesn't look as awesome. All right. I think that went fast today. We had a lot of questions. I think we got all the things answered. And look at that. I think that's a great way to start out Friday. We got all our questions answered. We answered our email questions. I think we're covered. You guys, if we have questions or if we have conversations we want to continue, please do remember we've got the Free Advice Facebook group. You are allowed to post in there. We don't allow promotions, so you cannot post your book link and say, buy my book. But if you have questions about printing, if you have questions about, hey, does anyone have an illustrator that they could recommend, different things like that, you can post in that Facebook group. It's Free Advice Fridays for publishers and authors. Feel free to join there. And so you have all of that information, and you can join us here next week. Free Advice Friday, questions live, and you can also always email in to questions@freeadvicefridays.com. Until then, we will see you next time. Bye, guys.